And good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Mauler Talk right here on YouTube. We are live, and it's great to have you here today. Please don't forget to send your comments right here on our live chat. You can chat with me also here on YouTube. It's great to be here on this cold Wednesday afternoon. It snowed a little bit this morning. You know how March can be, but it is what it is. And that's the story with that. But today we're here for the next 30 minutes to talk Mauler talk about the Pittsburgh Maulers. First, I have a couple announcements. Don't forget that tomorrow night, 8 p.m., Black and Gold sports show with myself and Mark Mancini on Blog Talk Radio. For you to listen, you'll need to write this phone number down. 347-205-9631 is the phone number to write down so you can listen 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. And then I will send out the video or the replay of it on my Facebook page. Don't forget Sunday night, 9 p.m. on Facebook Live. We will be there with The Way I See It at 9:30 and at 9 o'clock Sports Corner. Lots to talk about, as always. Friday, live here on YouTube, The Way I See It, and it will be broadcast at 7 p.m. on Friday. We have a ton to talk about on Friday, including some life story, which I always do on my Friday podcast edition of The Way I See It. And we also have our boob, or someone who happens to be a boob and does something stupid, and I'll have that person as well, and a whole lot more on Friday, 7 p.m. right here on YouTube, The Way I See It, with me, Ralph Williams, and we're here today to talk Pittsburgh Maulers. Now, as you know, those of you first time watching this program, Pittsburgh Maulers are playing this year. They're starting back up the USFL again with 8 teams. They have very lucrative coaches coaching some of the teams. Jeff Fisher, formerly of the Tennessee Titans, and also he has coached the Rams. He is going to be the coach for the Michigan Panthers. Tampa Bay Bandits, a familiar name, Todd Haley. Well, Todd Haley went out and got Eli Rogers, as I spoke last week about that. Former Steeler wide receiver. He was a good little slot wide receiver, also good at punt and kick returns. It was just too bad that he didn't make the team. So that's the issue with Eli Rogers. I wish we could have him back. He was not a bad wide receiver, but I guess the Steelers felt otherwise. Another former Steeler who actually I was quite surprised got drafted, but of course, as a fellow media colleague of mine said, that's Jeff Fisher for you. He took Paxton Lynch in the last round of the draft. So Paxton Lynch, who was a quarterback on our practice squad, and I think he he was on the regular team roster a few times during the time when Ben Roethlisberger was hurt from his elbow surgery. Paxton Lynch claimed, he didn't know the Steeler offense very well, which I don't understand how, because Randy Fichtner's offense was nothing but think and dink. So I don't know how complicated that can be for an offense, but we'll find out what Paxton Lynch does. Duck Hodges, Johnny Manziel, Deshaun Kaiser, some of these guys who were really good quarterbacks in the NFL at one time, or they were backups or whatever, for some strange reason, didn't make any of these teams. But there is an opportunity for them because tomorrow the USFL is holding a supplemental draft. Now, supplemental draft is after the original draft. Now, the NFL does the same thing here. They hold a supplemental draft as well. But now USFL is doing one tomorrow at 2 p.m. It'll be live streamed on their either Facebook page or on their website. They're owned by Fox, the USFL, and they've put together 8 teams. And I just mentioned to you 2 coaches of familiarity, but another one is Kevin Sumlin. He's going to be coaching the Houston Gamblers. If you don't know who Kevin Sumlin is, Kevin Sumlin was once the coach of the Houston Cougars in college football. took them to a ton of bowl games, then went to Mississippi State, stunk to join up there, then got hired at Arizona after Richie Rodriguez got fired. And he had 2 years there and he won maybe 4 games, didn't do well there either. And then he decided to move on to some other entities, being an offensive coordinator here, quarterbacks coach there. Well, now he's back. He's with the USFL. He's with the Houston Gamblers. Mike Riley, another familiar name. Been through numerous college jobs, mainly Nebraska, and also up at Oregon State. He was there twice, 2 different stints at Oregon State. One time, Pitt played Oregon State in a bowl game back when Wannstedt was coach, and they won, and it was against him, Mike Riley. Also, Mike Riley was once the coach of the former San Diego Chargers, who are now in LA. He coached them for a season or 2 as well. And then he was his last college job was in Nebraska. And he got replaced by Scott Frost, who's currently there now. And another name of note that's there is offensive coordinator Mark Whipple, from formerly of Pitt. But anyway, those are some of the coaches with names. Now, the Maulers coach is Kirby Wilson. He was the running backs coach for the Steelers at one time, and he's been around the league as running backs coach, some offensive coordinator positions in college. He's been around the offensive side of the ball. Now, here is something that I have for you, and they're predicting the USFL that due to the baseball lockout right now, the USFL could become popular. I think it will. I think the Maulers are going to work. People are laughing at me right now. Oh, you do a Mauler show. Why do you waste your time? Maulers aren't going to be here that long. You know what? I disagree. I think the Maulers are going to be here for a few years if the USFL is here for a few years. Last show, I brought up to you some breaking news that the former owners of some of the teams that they're using the names now are angry with the USFL and trying to sue them in court because they're using these names. Now, I don't know if they had written, copyrighted, written material that says he can't use this name. This brings me back to 2015 when the Little River Band was celebrating their 40th anniversary, and they were fit to be or soon to be on the Jimmy Fallon show. And some former members, Glenn Sherrick and Beebles and Bobble or whatever his name is, and they don't fall down, and a few other guys former members of the Little River Band, decided to file a lawsuit tying this up in court. So Jimmy Fallon decided not to have Little River Band on because of it. Turns out they were upset because they could not use the Little River Band name. Then they were upset because they're saying that the current band is nothing but a cover band. Well, this is a similar situation here in the USFL. You have these owners who are complaining and crying because they think that the names that were once in the past of the USFL back in the 80s should not be used right now. And so therefore, that's one of the reasons why the lawsuit is happening. And it's just like I explained to you with the Little River Band. Now, there is signed paperwork with the Little River Band that Glenn Sherrick, B. Boo-Boos, or whatever his name is, Birdies, and a few other guys that decided to sign when they left the band, signing over the rights to Wayne Nelson, who is the current lead singer and one of the remaining original members of the Little River Band as well. And he's been with them forever. So what I'm saying to you is that's the similar situation that I'm describing to you so you understand why this lawsuit is happening. Do you think the Maulers are going to last? Would you go to a Mauler game? The rumor I'm hearing is that this year, of course, it's going to happen. I have some other news for you other than tomorrow's supplemental draft. There'll be 10 rounds tomorrow at 2 p.m. There'll be some players that these teams can actually build on and do some different things with, which will help out. Maybe you'll see Duck Hodges. Maybe you'll see some of the other former Steelers, former Pitt player Aaron Matthews, and a few other guys who are in this USFL system right now. And also, as I mentioned, like I said, it's going to be a 10-round thing, 2 p.m. tomorrow. You can live stream it on YouTube and also off of the USFL website. I don't know if I believe Fox is probably having it on their website as well, but none of their networks are having it. We're going to go over that as well today because I have the news on that, and I have some other news for you. But all the games this year will be played at Legion Field in Alabama. Okay. So if you want to go see a Maulers game and perhaps you've never been to Alabama, I mean, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be facetious or anything. You might like to travel, okay, and go see a Mauler game down in Birmingham, Alabama at Legion Field. Fortunately for them, the Birmingham Stallions have their own team, so so we'll see how that works out as well. But do you think the USFL can work or will work, being that it's returning for a second time? First time the league folded, it didn't do that well. It only went into a second, then not even a second season. The Alliance for American Football, the AAF, everybody remember that? Hines Ward ran that. That went into the ground. XFL two different times has gone into the ground. Now the XFL supposedly has been purchased from Vince McMahon by The Rock. And The Rock is going to supposedly, The Rock is supposedly going to, he owns the team and he's got a different format of how he's going to do things, different cities, different stuff for the XFL next year. That would be the USFL's, more or less their, let's say, their competition. So what I'm saying is that the USFL is basically going to have competition next year if the XFL decides to start up with The Rock. Your chats are welcome right here. We have chat line wide open. I don't see anybody interested in chatting. What's your thoughts about the Maulers? Do you think they'll last? Where do you think they should play in Pittsburgh? Heinz Field's out of the question, too big. They said Highmark Stadium. I'm hearing they only want to use that for soccer, no more football. So we'll find out where. I know some sites they're looking at right now. They're looking at Robert Morris's field out there, Joe Walton Stadium on Robert Morris. They're looking at Rooney Field up in Duquesne. For these games, they're not expecting to draw 8 million fans. Of course, no one does for these special things. You know how that can be with Pittsburgh. They don't support these things, but I think this year they're going to support the Maulers. It's new, it's different. We have a whole different generation of people. I don't know. They say we have inflation, we have a bad economy. Of course, nobody wants to work, but people are spending money. Mall parking lots are crowded. Things are going on. So I don't get where there's a bad economy here at all. I'm told 15 restaurants are opening up. So I don't see why people don't have any extra money. Pirates are not playing right now, and this might be an economical thing to do. Go see an event like this next year when they actually come into Pittsburgh. And as I mentioned, if you could get maybe some cheap flights and head out to Alabama, to Birmingham, and go see the Maulers, make a weekend of it or something, or 4 or 5 days. I've never been to Alabama. That would be a nice little trip for me. Don't forget the chat line is wide open here, and we can chat in regards to the Maulers and the USFL. What's your thoughts on it? Some former coaches of note: Jeff Fisher, Todd Haley, Mike Riley, Kevin Sumlin. That's just 4 of the 8 coaches. Kirby Wilson, who is the coach of the Maulers as well. Do you think the Maulers have a chance this year? Do you think they can play based on what they have? I went over the roster the last couple of shows, so I was planning on talking about something else as we go here. All right, TV schedule, 4 Friday night games. They're going to have 4 on Fox. Also, they're going to have 9 Saturday and Sunday games. 9 of them are going to be on NBC, and the other 9 are going to be on USA Network. Now, this was not supposed to happen this way. Fox was supposed to put them on their channels because they own this. So they were supposed to put them all on they're supposed to put them all on their channels, FS1, FS2, Fox. But they decided this time to spread it around a little bit. There's going to be games on Peacock. Now, if you don't know what the Peacock network is, It's a streaming network. It's free. You can get it, for free. And if you're with Comcast, it's automatically in your plan. You can get it added onto your bill. It's only a couple bucks a month. It's not that expensive. You can see WWE events and a lot more there as well. Also, don't forget next Thursday, 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio, Wrestle Talk with myself and Mark Mancini. We have a special guest coming on, and I'm not going to tell you who it is. You have to tune in. 347-205-6931 is to listen to any of my shows on Blog Talk Radio, Wrestle Talk, the Black and Gold Sports Show, which is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And every other Thursday, like tomorrow, we're going to do the sports show, Mark and I, and then the following week we're going to do the wrestling show as well. So I'm gonna explain something to you today, and I'm just saying this because it did happen. Seems like some people in this town listen to my Wrestle Talk show, and I really appreciate that. I really do, that you listen to the show, or you catch it on my Facebook page when it gets uploaded and put on there by my producer and co-host Mark Mancini, okay, from Los Angeles. All right. I don't know if this talk radio station is jealous of me because I'm making a quick success, being on having Wrestle Talk and my podcasts, my Facebook shows, my TV shows. I have a lot going on in the media. Okay. All right. Just like everybody else. But there's only one difference. Most of this stuff I don't get paid to do. I do it because I like it. Okay. At this time, I am looking for some advertisers who are interested in myself promoting their products. Okay. My rates are cheap. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you have a business and you want to advertise here on Mauler Talk and some of my podcasts, okay, we can do that. All right. But I'm just saying, I don't make any big money on this. But this big money sports talk show radio station here decided to start their own little wrestling show. Okay. Why? Because they're jealous of me. Instead of calling me, instead of reaching out to me and Mark Mancini and syndicating our wrestling show here in Pittsburgh, they decide they're going to use their staff and start a wrestling show because someone told them I had a wrestling show on in Pittsburgh. And I'm the only one that does a full-fledged 30-minute wrestling show. No one else does one. Now, Mark Madden on 105.9EX, he talks wrestling a little bit. Josh Taylor once in a while in the morning on 93.7 The Fan, who I am talking about right now. Okay? All right? So it's that simple. All they had to do was reach out to me. They could have syndicated my show. But no, they didn't want to do that. They decided to have Dorn Dickerson start talking about wrestling every single Tuesday night when he fills in for Paul Zeiss. Okay? So everybody around here is doing 1,000 jobs. They're all over the place. They got the press stuff they do. Everybody's. So I'm doing it too. I got a lot going on in the media here. I got this. I got my podcast, my other two podcasts. I got my Facebook shows. I got my TV shows on PCTV, Channel 21 Comcast, 47 Verizon, Sports Corner, the way I see it. Okay. But here we are. All right. We're here live. But I didn't appreciate 93.7 The Fan duplicating something that I create, that myself and Mark Mancini created. Okay. And starting to talk wrestling on there when they could have reached out to us and we would have been kindly enough to syndicate it on there if that's what you want to do. Okay. All right. Mark Madden wouldn't even do that to us because my producer and co-host Mark Mancini knows Mark Madden. All right. And I know Mark wouldn't do that to me either. So what I'm saying to you is this. Why would you do it? Oh, you mad at me because I call you out every now and again? Yeah, that's right. I call you out because there's been too much politics and injustice in this town with this kind of stuff. I have the talent just like anybody else, but you don't reach out to me. All right. How many times have I reached out to you guys? All right. Never. All I get is a bunch of gripe. So that's fine. You go do what you got to do. But I'm going to tell you this right now, and I said this last night on my Facebook post, and that is this simple. Okay. It's this simple. When it becomes this show, Wrestle Talk, and it becomes real national and gets syndicated, perhaps maybe even on, you know, Sirius Satellite Radio or something like that, I don't want to hear from you at all. 93.7 The Fan. I don't. Because you had your opportunities. And when this goes really national and it becomes really famous, guess what? That's when I'm going to tell you to go somewhere. Okay? I won't need you then. Okay? Because when I needed you now, you weren't there for me. All right? You're too busy having the same voices on her all the time. All right? Okay? And I'm not going to go any further because I have a couple friends that work there, but they don't interfere with my business. All right. Juana has commented here on the chat. She says that's what people do, steal first off of you, and that's true. And she's looking forward to listening to Wrestle Talk next week, next Thursday. We're having a wrestler, a real wrestler on, and we're going to talk. Last Thursday, we had a guy named Jay White on, and Jay is from Pittsburgh here, and he's doing a movie, and he wants to do a series and put it on Netflix about local Pittsburgh wrestling. I have reached out to Mark Bubba Snyder. I'm trying to see if I can get him to come on our show and talk about the local scene a little bit. He hasn't got back to me yet, but if I can get him on, that'll be a great thing as well. Okay, now, tomorrow, USFL is holding their supplemental draft, 2 p.m., not 10 rounds. I'm not sure what network it's going to be on. They're saying it could be streaming live on YouTube here from the USFL headquarters. TV schedule, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to do 4 Friday games, 4 on Fox, 9 Saturday and Sunday games, 9 on NBC and 9 on USA. So one day it'll be on NBC and one day it'll be on USA. They're going to split the days. I guess Sunday will be one network and Saturday will be the other network. And then 4 games will stream on the Peacock network. All right. So it's only 8 teams, and you're only going to play teams in your division. You're not going to play a whole bunch of teams. Now, here is the big news. Then I saved it for last. The semifinals, get this, and the championship game are not going to be played at Legion Field in Alabama. You can, if the Maulers are in this, you can go see this, and you're only 2 hours away. It's in Canton, Ohio at the NFL Hall of Fame. It's going to be at their stadium. The semifinal games, the playoffs, and the championship game. Wouldn't that be nice if for real, if the Maulers were really in this thing, as a playoff team, and we could go see them win the championship? We're not that far away. Canton, Akron's not that far. You can zip over, watch the game, and zip back. You can make a weekend out of it. See, I came up with some ideas, and no excuses for anyone not to participate. That's if the Maulers get into these games. They may not be in them, but you might like some other USFL teams. We're national here on YouTube, and people can watch it from anywhere. Okay, they're watching this show. So, we got a lot of former Pittsburghers who live in other cities. I've reached out to them, and friends of mine that are watching. I have a lot of people that watch this, but they don't check in, and that's fine. Some people are scared to check in. Others don't want to hear their name. Others don't want to hear their comments. Others don't want to hear their comments. They might like the show, but that's what they do. All right. And, like I said, I put this show on every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Oh, excuse me. Wow. And I got some people who laugh at me because I'm putting on a Maulers talk show. That's real funny. That's a real joke. No, it's not a joke. I'm putting it on here for you. I want to put it on for you. I want you to understand that we have another opportunity to have a spring football team. If you're a football lover and you really like football, people say they don't care what kind of football's in the spring. I love football, period. So I'm going to do this. And don't forget, you got the Pitt Spring game coming up, so you can go watch that down at Heinz Field. It's free. Okay, all right. But I'm not going any further with the date and time and all that. All right, we'll talk about that on Tuesday and Sunday on my Sports Corner show. Don't forget Sunday night, 9 p.m. on Facebook this Sunday. I don't have any previous obligations at this time, so we will be here, or I'm sorry, not here, on Facebook Live, but we're going to be live through my studio here at Studio 808 up here in the Allentown section of the city of Pittsburgh. And it's night. It's starting to get up into the 40s a little bit today, but it was cold this morning, and we had a bunch of snow. Some of the weather people said we were just going to get, a small coating or something. I heard it was treacherous out there a little bit, but that was the issue there. So don't forget Saturdays 5 p.m. PCTV channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon, and PCTV's Facebook page. You can watch my show Sports Corner and The Way I See It. All right, you can also watch that as well all the time. And Juana says every time we do something positive, there's always people out there that will laugh at you and try to bring you down. You're not bringing me down. I'm going to keep on going. So there you go. I'm just going to keep on going. And don't forget to watch The Way I See It on PCTV. It's on a rotating schedule, but you can catch my show The Way I See It. And I want you to take a look at it because on February 28th, I did a taping and I had Pastor Paul Roberts on talking about, he's talking about the church and his plans for retirement and COVID and how the church handled COVID. It's a very good interview. The Way I See It, rotating basis. It'll be coming up next week on PCTV. But if you can get on Facebook, get on their Facebook page right now. It is on there, that episode right now. I was supposed to have a professional PBA bowler on last Thursday. He had canceled. He had a last-minute obligation or emergency, could not be on, so I wasn't able to get him on. But next month, I moved from April 7th to April 5th because of something going on at the studio, and my original date and time is not available, so they moved me to Tuesday, April 5, 6 p.m. My co-host, Smoking Jim Frazier, will not be with me because he's a co-host on Pittsburgh Sports Line on Bethel Park TV and on Facebook with Al Levine, the Talking Machine, on Tuesday. So I will have my guest co-host will be Trib Live reporter Jerry DePaula. He hasn't been on my show since the late 90s on PCTV. I had him on. We talked about the Steelers. Well, we're going to talk Pitt football, what they're up to, Pitt basketball, Pitt athletics, a little bit about the Steelers and everything else. I'm working to put a draft show together once again, and we're going to try to get the folks from Steel City Media or Steel City Sports World and myself on PCTV as well. All right. Thanks for tuning in today to Mauler Talk. I'm Ralph Williams. We're here every Wednesday, 4 p.m., talking USFL and Pittsburgh Maulers. USFL season getting started in April. I'll give you the date for that next week, the official startup date, and the different dates and times of the Maulers football games and who they're going to be playing. I'll be doing that next week here on Mauler Talk with me, Ralph Williams, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Don't forget my other shows on all podcasts here Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Next Tuesday, Jerry DePaula will be with me from the Trib. He's going to be on. He was supposed to be on this past Tuesday, but he got tied up with Pitt and he couldn't be on. So he'll be on this coming Tuesday right here on YouTube Live with me, Ralph Williams, Sports Corner. All right. And everybody have a good night. Be safe.